In my last videos, I kept calling the Lovebirds Bluebirds. Now I've got Lovebirds and a Bluebird. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. It is Saturday, June 13th, and I've got some stitching to show you. Let's start with the Lovebirds because I am still smitten with these. I am making so much progress so quickly because it's all one color and there's a lot of exposed background fabric in this. All this little stuff up at the top. I'm running my tails up through the fabric and not cutting them until I've stitched over them because tucking 3 strands under the existing stitches with the needle I'm using was a bit of a challenge, and why not do it this way? Oh, that's, I'm looking at this dark spot here going, what is that? That's the shadow of the thread. No need to panic. This is from Just Cross Stitch, the February, I think, issue from this year. Description below will have all the links to all the stuff. I am really hoping to have a couple of projects done by the end of June, if only so I can put them in my mid-year totals, which is silly. I tell myself not to race the calendar when I'm stitching because literally me and the calendar doesn't care, so I am the only one who cares, but it's like wanting nice round numbers in things. And I have 2 projects that I started this year that I could probably pretty easily get done. So I'm trying, and I've had more time to stitch this week. I really think I can have this done in a couple of days. If my luck holds. Now, I shouldn't have said that because something will happen and it won't get done. I am experimenting. I have a new camera and I'm back to the table with the stack of books to prop it up because I'm not dealing with that tripod again. New tripod comes in the mail on Thursday, so you may have to bear with me through a couple videos while I get all this sorted out, but I'm doing my best. And I am loving stitching with one color more than I possibly ever thought I would. The other thing I'm hoping to get done by the end of the month is When I Am Dead and in My Grave. This one, I'm stalled out. It is the pattern, I think, by Dark Crosses, and I measured my fabric. I know I measured my fabric. This camera focuses differently than my other phone did. But the closer I get to the bottom, and I measured to this bottom edge, the more I start to wonder if I have enough room. I've been avoiding remeasuring. I've been avoiding taking it out of the Q-snap and figuring out how bad the damage will be because I think it's 4 more rows here. I have room. I will have like 3/4 of an inch down here. And if I put them like a space closer, that'll give me an extra 3 stitches of bottom, which is like 1/3 of an inch more. I can make this work, but I had already been plotting out how to combine 2 of the rows and make do, and dang it, if I had started this up 1/4 of an inch closer to the top, I would not be having these little internal battles with myself. Part of it is that I need to chart my own name for one of the rows, and that sounds hard even though I know I can do it. So I'm putting it off. I'm fighting myself on this one. It would be really easy to just wait and do it later when I feel like it, except I'm never going to feel like it. So Lovebirds I am pushing to get done by the end of the month. This one I'm not so sure. There's no reason I can't get it done by the end of the month. In 2 nights I did half of this row, all of this row. So I can totally get it done. It's whether I can work up the motivation to get it done. Part of me wants to just be stitching on this. I had probably already been thinking about the Bluebird when I made the last video and kept talking about Bluebirds. I started this, I think it was 2020 Stitch Mania. Might have been 2019. I'm not feeling terribly organized tonight. And he was fun. I love the shading of those feathers and the angry look. And up here, when I stitched his eyes with all those color changes, I was not paying attention to the fractional stitches. So I'm going to have to go back now and fill them in, and I'll have learned my lesson from this one. Somewhere along here before I put him up last time, I made a mistake and stitched the wrong color for the wrong symbol, because there is one symbol that's like a starburst and another symbol that's like a half rising sun. And when they are right next to each other in the feathers of the belly of a bird, I didn't realize that I was stitching the wrong color in the wrong place. And then with the two of them so close together, I could not think of how I was going to pick it out, and I just noped out of it, put the project away, told myself I would deal with it later, which is really okay, but I should have left myself notes of what I was doing. So what I did is I stitched his feet, and then I started stitching the white and the gray on his belly and worked my way up towards wherever the problem was. It turns out there were only about 12 stitches in the wrong color, and they're these little single strand peachy crosses. And the color that should have been there was 3 strands of white. So I did what I do, and I stitched the 3 strands of white over the 1 strand of peach, and it's not perfect. I'm not entering it in the state fair, but it's not bad. If you come and you look at this on my wall, with the idea that I would ever frame it and put it on my wall, it's going in and under the bed box most likely, you'll be able to find the mistake. From a couple feet away, I don't think anyone is going to notice, and I don't think it's worth beating myself up over. And I forgot the thing that I was most excited to show you in this video. So I'm going to get up and go get the thing, because I cannot make this video without showing you the thing. I am so glad that I remembered to look at my notes and see that I had this to show you, because if I had forgotten it, I would have been really sad and probably deleted and refilmed and re-uploaded the video, and that would have not been fun. At some point in the not so distant past, one of our Flosstube friends found the Woman's Day Box of American Needlework, and it was this box set of sampler patterns and quilt patterns, and they were in these big fold-out sheets. And she did a video about it, and I went, oh my gosh, I want that. And started looking, because, I mean, there have to be others out there, right? A month or so passed, I found one in a antique store, and they wanted $75 for it. I wanted it. I didn't want it $75 worth. So I kind of halfway forgot about it, because a lot of times that I want it is a spur of the moment thing, like a little kid with the big new Christmas toy. And I was still sort of halfway looking, but not looking hard. And I get a call from my mom, and she's at the thrift store looking in their free box. And she found this thing that they couldn't sell because it was so beat up, but she wanted to show it to me to ask me if she should pick it up. It was the box set of patterns. They had put it in the free box because it was old and too old to sell, and it didn't have the book that was supposed to go with it, and it was the same box. I'm kind of convinced that the universe wanted us to have this, because Mom brought it home, she looked at it, and she got a little less enthusiastic about giving it to me and a little more enthusiastic about keeping it for herself, which is fine, because, I mean, I'll keep my eyes open. There are more out there. And I can always go over it and borrow it when I decide that I have the time, energy, and fabric to stitch one of those samplers. And I just kind of kept the idea in the back of my head. And last week I was buying chicken feed. There's a thrift store 2 blocks down from the feed store that's not my favorite. I have found things there. They have books 5 for $1, and I walk through and look at the books because you have to. And I was thinking, I've pretty much picked through their needlework books, and there wasn't anything new, but 5 for $1, maybe I could get something to use for junk journaling. And I picked this book up, and I'm thinking for 20 cents I could use some of this in junk journaling, right? And then I looked at the spine, and it's by Rose Wilder Lane. Rose Wilder Lane, in case you don't know, is the daughter of Laura Ingalls Wilder and most likely the author of the Little House on the Prairie books. So for 20 cents, I needed to buy the book. It wasn't till I got out to the car after paying for it that I picked it up and I flipped through it. And I saw, I'm not going to be able to find it here in a hurry, but, oh, yes, I am. Maybe. I saw the house sampler. And that house sampler is in that box set. It took me a long time to look at the cover of this book. Way too long to look at the cover of this book. This is the companion book to the box set, and I got it for 20 cents. Like I said, especially considering the roundabout way that I managed to almost not purchase, but ultimately purchase this book, I think we were meant to have them. And I tried really hard to remember. I had an idea who I thought had made the video about the box. It is Ardith from Ardith Designs. I could not find her original video because I really wanted to link to it so you could see why I am so excited about this box and this book. The pattern for the sampler is in here. So I don't even have to go steal the box from my mom when I get ready to do that sampler. So thank you, Ardith, for putting it in my head that I needed these so that I could stumble across the book, except the way things happened, I think Mom would have still stumbled across it and I would have still stumbled across the book, and at least I figured out what I had before I took a pair of scissors to it. Best thrift store find of the week. I was catching up on newsletters from my favorite author, and Diane Belair, who writes cozy mysteries. She's got one called The Madison Night Mysteries, which are very Doris Day inspired, and the Sylvia Stryker Space Mysteries, which kind of Star Trek-y space opera. They're fun. They're not serious. They're like Doris Day in space. They're fun, though. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, you should read them. But she was talking about not grocery shopping on Monday and giving her reasons that didn't work out to her. And she ended the newsletter story with the adage that just because something works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. And for some reason today, that just really hit me as, yeah, that's how that works. Because I see so many people say, this is how you should do it because this is the way that I do it, and I think everybody else does it, and if they don't do it, they're wrong. And Sadie Season Goods, she buys thrifted stuff and upcycles it. She took a very 1980s piece of kitchen cross stitch and upcycled it into a shopping tote. And I'm going to put the link in the description. Just taking it out of that frame with the mauve matting made all the difference in the world. So maybe this will give you inspiration for saving the stitches. Maybe this will give you inspiration for making your own projects and finishing them. Either way, it's worth taking a look. And I made a thing yesterday. I got these stickers at the Dollar Tree, and I love old stuff. I love new stuff that looks old. And I've been playing with the idea of making a needle book because I stick my needles in the arm of the couch and in the border fabric of my projects and every place other than where needles should be. And I had an idea. I wanted to use the leftover linen from the acceptance sampler and so we can get that to focus, some of the ads section from an old copy of the work basket that I got and make myself a needle book. I made it. It turned out the way that I had pictured it, but of course now that I've done it, I can think of about a half a dozen ways I could do it better. So I used up my sticker, but there are a bunch of other really cute stickers on the sheet. I used up my cute little embroidery ads, but I have lots more copies of the magazine to cut up, which I'm sure have those exact same ads. And I got a whole other package of this ridiculous super linen. So Nothing is lost. I learned from my mistakes. And I think I need to be a little better about jumping and making things when the opportunity strikes. Our daughter had an estate. I keep saying estate sale because I don't do garage sales, but no one is dead. It was a garage sale. She had a garage sale last weekend and asked if I wanted to put anything in it. And I had advance notice, but I only had 2 last-minute days when I had the opportunity to go up in my attic and dig for things. So the end of last week was kind of get up and be doing it by 5:30 in the morning, because if you are not doing it at 5:30 in the morning, you have lost your window of opportunity and it's not going to get done. I'm so glad this week is calmer and I have a chance to sit and stitch and not be approaching my day at a dead run while watching the ticking clock. Nobody wanted to buy my stuff. The few things that I sold were the stuff I would have thought I couldn't give away. So explain that to me. We went out couponing or Dollar General clearance shopping. I think that's what we were doing. I was tagging along with my couponer daughter. One of the stores we went to had these cardboard storage boxes, 70% off, and then 50% off of clearance, which I think made them $1.20. I was hoping that they would be the right size to store cross stitch kits in, and I thought I might be wrong, so I only got 2 of them, but they are perfect. I wish I had bought all 4 of them, because it is not exactly the color palette that I would have chosen for my sewing room, but for putting on a shelf and keeping kits organized and dust free, these are going to work really well, and for the price you can't beat it. So I'm going to go through my kits and sort them, and those little mesh zipper bags from Amazon fit in here really nicely. So I think I need to do one of the stuff that I am working on and one of my things that I want to be working on. I think I only have 2 of them. And I've got another that's a size that won't work nearly this well. Driving lessons are going to be the death of me. We have had a week of learning experiences, like, see the black plastic flapping off the back of that boat? That's going to be in our windshield in a second. And there's no other lane to get into. It did go flying. It was a moving blanket. It hit the pavement instead of our windshield. We learned what you do when there is a fire truck blocking your lane because it's parked with its lights on responding to a house, and a school bus with its red lights on in the oncoming lane, which obviously you stop for the school bus. But then how do you get past the fire truck when you have to go into the next lane to do it, and there's like now a half mile of log trucks backed up? We've been learning fun stuff like that, and my nerves are frayed. I don't have to drive into work tonight, so I am super happy about that. I am going to go edit and upload this. Can you hear the sleep deprivation? And I'm going to sew on both of my birds, I think. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and I'll be back with you with more videos soon.